Welcome back to Not in My City Unite. I'm Charmaine James, and today we'll be discussing living in two different worlds. Let me explain the title or the topic for today. Living in two different worlds. I have guests with me today, Pastor Donna, Tiffany, and Elizabeth. And if you don't remember or you haven't watched the episode of Is Sunday Still the Most Segregated Day of the Week? When you go to that episode and look at episode 1 and 2, you'll hear a story about a young lady named Tiffany given by her aunt, Pastor Donna Wells. Well, we're honored today to have Tiffany here with us to share her testimony, and we're going to just dive into her testimony. And then we have our other guest, Elizabeth, that's going to explain her life as a parent raising a female, a beautiful female named Olivia, being biracial. So I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves and just tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's start with you, Ms. Donna.
Well, I'm Donna Wells. My husband and I are co-founders of Wells of Agape in Orange, Texas, as I spoke previously. And Tiffany is my niece, and she is an answer to our prayer. And I'll let her share that as well. But just excited that she's here because she volunteers for Wells of Agape as well.
Tiffany?
Well, my name's Tiffany Broussard, and I volunteer with Wells of Agape, and I am interning right now to be a Christian counselor, just like my Aunt Donna, and I'm interning to work for Wells of Agape, and overcame addiction and lots of struggles to get to where I'm at now. Thank God.
My name is Elizabeth Stubblefield, and I formerly in ministry, media ministry. I'm currently an EMT. Raised my daughter as a single mom for 20 years, almost 20 years, and she's 24 now, living on her own with her own little baby. So,
And today, like I said earlier, we're going to just dive into living in two different worlds as being in two different cultures, Black, white, Hispanic, or being African American, but just understanding the different struggles of living in two different worlds. It's already hard enough living in today's society as being, as we say, a minority, but living in different ethnic groups. But I hadn't seen, as I did Google and research some stories and some topics and videos on being biracial, but just sitting down, just discussing it as a whole. And your testimony, Tiffany, really grabbed me and just touched my heart. And then me knowing Elizabeth Stubblefield and Olivia for as long as I've been, here at One City Church, was formerly a cathedral, for over 10 years, and just watching the way you honored both cultures, both ethnic groups. And I want to discuss that today and just dig into, how can I say it? Just your testimony, the history of it, because I feel that it's a lot of other mothers, maybe single, maybe not, foster parents, most definitely, as Pastor Donna was one as herself, or even children or adults that haven't discussed this or haven't even heard from anyone else the topic discussed, are sitting at home and saying, how do I work through feeling like I can be white, I'm Black, but I'm in the middle. I'm just in limbo sometimes, that I'm not accepted by one race, or I'm not even accepted by the other race. So what do I do, and how do I move in this? And even parents that may not even know the simple things of hair or makeup or just different things that we're going to touch on today, just to help out. I'm not saying this has never been done before, but I'm saying that I feel that the Lord is drawing me to do it today to help other parents, help children and adults that struggle with what is my identity, where do I fit in, and who am I? And so I want to start with really, Tiffany, just tell us about just everything you went through of finding out that you're biracial.
Well, I was raised by my mom and by her family, and Aunt Donna and them were always really loving. I never felt like I was different from them until the incident that she told you about in the 3rd grade. My best friend, I wanted to go stay the night at her house, and her grandma said that I couldn't, and it was because I was black, and I don't ever remember realizing that I was any different than they were until that moment. And it was almost like I fought it, like, since that moment. Like, I tried everything I could to not be that, because it was in my mind that was a bad thing to be. And society growing up,
Yes.
how it is, it's not talked about. And
Yes.
and we didn't talk about it. I think I asked maybe when I was younger, and it was kind of, oh, well, we had some Spanish people in our family, so that must be why you don't. It was never really, embellished on or anything like that. So now I'm 35. I'm just coming out of a addiction, a lifestyle that I was leading that was not great, and my fiance now is adopted. So we did the 23andMe together, and through all that, found out that I am Nigerian and all these different things, and now it's more like I'm exploring that side of me. Like, I'm all these things that I fought, I feel like, for so many years. I'm finally embracing and really starting to love that side of me, but still learning too. I almost feel like a baby, because I don't know about my hair. I'm just now learning to do all this different stuff. So it's definitely been an experience that I'm still going through.
And so when you got your test back and you read that test, how did you feel?
Confused at that moment, confused, but in a good way. Like, I was finally figuring out my identity, because I really, up until that moment, I didn't realize I was running from it, but I was. And so it was confusing but exciting at the same time. I'm still trying to process it all, really, because I just don't know. I don't know how it applies to everything, but I know that I feel like I can be 100% me now. Like, I don't have nothing to hide, or this is who I am, and I'm proud of it. And I've never felt like that before.
Now, when you said it was some ways you were running away from, what are some of the ways you were running away from?
Well, even to this day, I don't have very many black friends. I mean, I have a couple, don't get me wrong, but nobody in my life that I can say has been there. The straightening of the hair and everything, I would just try to fit in with my white friends and be white. I was just like, everything that made me, I was trying to get rid of that. I wanted to, I wouldn't go tan. I wanted to be white. And it's not something to want to be. I feel like now I want to be me.
Yes.
And celebrate that. And just to realize that I didn't do that for 35 years, and it's just kind of sad to me.
Ms. Donna?
Well, I'm just thinking about, her and we did love her. And I remember, she's been interning with me, and so she's been going through some inner healing sessions with me as well. And I just remember her saying, y'all loved me. You didn't treat me any different, but you didn't prepare me for the mean, cruel world out there, because it was never, discussed. And I knew a while back, because my sister, her mom, shared with me, but asked me not to tell.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my place to tell. However, she did get nerve enough up to ask her mom.
Okay.
And so they were able to talk about that. And I think that alone brings freedom as well.
Absolutely.
And so, love just isn't enough. I mean, it really isn't. And when she told me that, it really broke my heart, because I'm like, you think, we try to protect people, and we think we're doing the best for them because we love them. However, we need to prepare our loved ones,
Absolutely.
you know, so.
And I do feel like I wasn't prepared, like for I use the third grade incident because it stands out to me.
Yes.
But there was many instances, I guess, that people didn't just automatically accept me. And at home, I was loved, but I had no idea that I was different. So when they slapped me in the face with that, it was like, oh well, I got to try everything I can to not be that, because people don't want me around if I'm black.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that now I don't have to worry about that. But it was a shock to me, and it was different. At home, they treated me one way, and then when I got to school, it was a whole different. People treated me like I wasn't as special, I guess, to them. But
Yeah.
it was, and I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why I was treated different. I do now.
Yeah, now you do. How did the conversation with your mom go, if you don't mind sharing?
Not at all. I was nervous, but my mom's great, and I just basically asked her before I took the DNA test, because I have a wonderful man that my mom's. He's raised me. He's been there my whole life, and he's been great. But I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I asked her one day about how I came to be, and told her I was gonna do this, and she was very receptive. She told me that she was raped, and I meant she wants me to find out for me, but I don't think that she's healed from all of it, and I don't really think that she thought she would have to deal with it. I meant, who thought that one day you could spit in a cup and you'd be able to tell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That nobody thought that was ever going to happen, but here we are. And she's very open. Whatever I need to do to feel whole. But I don't think that she realized that I was missing something. I mean, obviously I had my struggles, but I don't think that she realized that was so prominent in my life.
Yeah. Because if you go back and look now, and just look at the struggles versus the identity,
Right.
you can see that some things were missing.
Absolutely.
And some things were in you that were just confused, longing, searching. And so you just, we all, I'm not just say you, we all latch out or reach out for different things when we don't understand what's going on.
Right.
And so I want to go to Elizabeth for her to share as well on her, I'll say your testimony and story of you and your daughter.
Okay. I met her dad in high school, and, we ended up together. She came along. I was a high school mom, so, and I grew up in a small town. I grew up in Jasper. So this was right before the James Byrd incident.
Okay.
So Jasper's got a reputation for being a certain way.
Yeah.
Small town, some small minds. And I just kind of was that person who didn't care what people thought. It's like, I like somebody, I want to date somebody, I don't care what people say. So that caused some issues. I'd had my car keyed and some different, things. I lost most of my friends after when I had Olivia. But I didn't, I had my little family. I was good, We ended up moving to Beaumont, and she, gets older, and Dad leaves, just the two of us. She's in school, in private school, because, I'm trying to do the best for my baby.
Yes.
So she had some similar instances to you with, not being invited places. Everyone in the class, every white kid in the class would get birthday invitations, and, the one or two black kids wouldn't. And she didn't understand that. She was like, well, these people are my friends. Why am I not being invited? And that early on, that school, I I guess, instance, back, I want to say that was as early as like first or second grade.
Yes.
That was like the beginning of her realizing she was different,
Yeah.
or why aren't, they my friends,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so she had contact with both sides of the family, and I made sure to maintain that even after her dad and I split up. She was close to his sisters. They would still come pick her up, and I wanted to make sure that, she was around, his family as much as possible. But then she lived with me and spent most of the time with me or my parents. And, it was difficult for her, I think. I don't want to speak too much for her, but it was difficult for her, surrounded by whiteness all the time, to, I think, really kind of explore who she was, or fit, her friends at school were white. And so, trying to maintain that balance and let her know, like, look, baby, you are black and you are white and you are beautiful. Like, if people don't like it, oh well. And I think sometimes I kind of took the wrong approach in being a little too passive with some things that were said to her, some instances that she had growing up, because I was like, let it roll off your back. Don't let those people bother you, Don't let it get to you. They're, they don't know who you are, instead of, I should have done more, I think, to kind of build her up in that, instead of the let it roll off your back kind of thing. Because I didn't really, I can't understand what it is that she's dealing with.
Yes.
But that's all, I guess I'm putting my nature on her. Like, that's how I am, like a just let it roll off your back, don't let it bother you kind of person. But that doesn't work for that,
Yes.
So, there have been, a lot of missteps and a lot of learning, and, trying to find out how do you best balance everything, and, make sure that she's, growing up as a whole healthy person, identity-wise, in this world that we live in.
Yeah. And I want to just insert this, that Olivia did want to be here, but because of some medical reasons, she couldn't make it here. So she did talk with us, and then, of course, was honored and blessed that her mom is here. So, hi, Olivia. We miss you. We love you. So as you hear Tiffany's story as a mother, why don't you talk to her as a mom? Not saying, of course, we honor her mom, but you've lived through it, you walked through it with eyes wide open, and everybody makes mistakes. So what question, Tiffany, and this is a little going with the Holy Spirit, what question would you ask Elizabeth as a mom that you probably wouldn't want to ask your mom, or you would want some answers about, as in living day to day and moving through this life as a biracial woman?
Well, I don't know, because I know that my mom hasn't lived through it.
But as a parent, as she's a mom that
Well,
has helped her daughter move through it, what would you ask her, or what advice would you want to get from her?
what did you do to build her, like to build her up on the other side, like so she knew about her black side? Because my mom, I don't feel like had that opportunity to know anybody to get feedback off of. Did you have a lot of, like you said, you had input from your her side, her dad's side of the family?
Yeah. We're close. I was real close to her dad's side of the family. So, I would even go and spend time with his sisters and his family. But I tried to just make sure, if she wanted to go talk to them, if she wanted to see them, I would make it happen.
Right.
And they did really good when she was younger, before, everyone gets involved in,
Right.
all their activities and everything, to make sure that, I would take her to Houston to stay with his sister, like to keep her connected to that side of the family. And that was something that I never really had. I didn't have a big family. So for her to go have that experience and to have that experience with his side of the family was important to me.
Right.
So, and my friends have always been, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. So she had that, she grew up kind of seeing, everything. It wasn't all just, white everywhere, but
And that's how I kind of was.
yeah.
Was
but her
white
friends in
everywhere.
school basically was, going to a private school, but
She still had that.
in the home it was different. I tried to make sure that she stayed as connected to them as she could.
Right. And that's the only regret really that I feel like I
And
just
that's
feel
what I
like I
wanna
don't
get.
know anything about anything, and I don't have anybody to ask, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, until now.
Until now. And that's what I was getting to get to the question of inner struggles that you may have, or even, I know you and Olivia are open and talked about a lot, the inner struggles that you all dealt with and what you're dealing with now.
Right.
What inner struggles are you dealing with now? I'm not saying we have the total answers, but we could help you, and not just help you, because it's other people, of course, watching
right.
This video as well. What inner struggles are you dealing with now?
Just finding where I fit in, and really the struggle of it being not talked about for so long. I
Yeah.
feel like this is long overdue, and
Yeah.
like it shouldn't have been swept under the rug for this long. Like we should have been talking about it, and that's really where I'm at right now with it. Like I feel like I have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
And catching up on myself.
Yeah.
Like learning me. I'm still in the midst of all of it. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Well,
I can feel you pulling like, put me in, coach.
well, because I see some of her struggles, because we spend a lot of time together. And part of it is that she would love to have that freedom to be able to talk to her mom freely about that. However, her mom's situation, she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Things happened that, were not in her control. So she can't give her daughter what she does not have. And there again, we've not been there.
Right.
We've not been where Tiffany is, but I do see her. She would love to be able to just feel free to just really, I think, share with her mom things that she shares with me.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to hurt her mom's feelings. She doesn't want to, cross that line or whatever. And I do see that struggle. And we do pray that will, it was big for her mom to tell her what she told her. And, I'm excited what God's doing, because I believe that she's going to be able to help people that a lot of people can't help.
Right.
And she just says all the time, I just want everybody to be free like me. Because she feels like she's just, like she said, she's been born. It's like, I'm new, and
I'm here.
yeah,
Definitely.
to be celebrated.
And that's key.
And that is so key, We celebrated her in one area,
Yeah.
but we didn't
Haven't
celebrate
celebrate the other.
the other. And I think that's sad. That's so sad for her, and then for other children, that have been in that situation, because,
Yeah.
the whole her needs to be celebrated.
Definitely.
And that's why I thought it was very important, even though Olivia couldn't be here, that Elizabeth could be here.
Definitely.
Because I didn't know your full background or story, but I knew that the Holy Spirit she had to be here. So she could be that, just stand in
Sure,
to help you understand more and help others understand more, that even the parents that work together and those that don't work together, that it is moms and dads that are still trying their best to honor both sides and celebrate
Absolutely.
everything, every part of what their children, is, and also to educate
Right.
and to be able to explain and reach out so that you can be prepared for the things, like you said, you wasn't prepared for your hair. You know, when we had the discussion on hair and you finally understood what, I mean, it's simple, and some people may laugh and some people may say whatever, but as simple as understanding the product to put in your hair so that your hair can just be healthy and tamed and
Definitely.
is a miracle. And so when we had the discussion on hair and makeup and face care, it is different. It's not the same as everyone else because it's different. Our skin tone, our chemistry is different. And so for her just to be able to get the right hair product, when we had the discussion, some people would be like, she received $1 million. But for someone that had been struggling all their life, not understanding why my hair won't cooperate, and now her hair is thriving.
Oh, it's doing its thing.
It's doing its thing. And her makeup and everything is right. It's like you have a whole new you. It's an identity. And so let's talk about identity with both as a whole. For you, Tiffany, your experience a whole new identity you never knew about. That was just kind of hidden in a place somewhere, just waiting to come out. And so how is that for you now versus before you even knowing?
Oh, like a 180-degree difference. I mean, I'm trying new stuff and experimenting, and like I still probably haven't got it right, but I feel like I have a better handle on what I need to do. And thank God for YouTube, because I wouldn't know anything if it wasn't for the YouTube videos. But I feel like I have let this whole other side out of me, and it's beautiful, and it's all, and I feel complete.
Yes.
I feel whole, and like I have something to offer now. As to before, I didn't know where I was going. I feel like I was wandering aimlessly through this life, and now I have a direction and have a purpose, and I know who I am and what I have to offer. And and I'm proud. I'm proud of myself now. It's great. It's a great feeling from what I was feeling, definitely.
And Elizabeth, I know you're speaking on behalf of your daughter, but you're a mom. I know she would give you leeway in that.
The hair was a struggle.
She said the hair was a struggle. I'm saying it out loud in case.
And she has a lot of hair and had a lot of input coming from a lot of places, and none of it worked. So poor baby, her hair for like the first 10 years of her life was a hot mess. But I'm thankful that she did grow up in the YouTube age, and she took an interest in hair very early on. So now she's figured it all out, and she's all into hair and makeup and all that, because I was no help there. But I'm excited for you. I'm excited that you are. It makes me just like kind of well up with all this joy inside that you're discovering all of this right now, because I can see the excitement in you, and I can see, it's almost like, when a kid, when babies are little and they're discovering things for the first time, and it's just, everything's just like, I can see that, and that is so exciting, because you've got, even though if you're not getting the information that you want or desire from your mom, there's a lot that you can learn about, your culture and your background, from a wealth of people, and just every little bit, you'll figure out, who you are and what it is, and it's just exciting to see.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm reminded of a prophecy that she was given years ago when she was a little girl.
11?
Probably. And I remember a friend of mine and myself, she was with us, and we were praying for her. And part of the prophecy I do remember is because of the color of her skin, that she will help many.
Wow.
That others could not reach. And so I always remember that. And, my husband Ron and I, she's our niece, and we helped raise her a lot of times, and I remember us just praying for her, and both of us in our prayer especially, and he would say it more than I would. He would say, I can't wait till Tiffany sees who she really is in the Lord. Because when she ever gets that, she will be unstoppable. And it's neat to see God answer the prayers, and her be, free in Jesus.
Amen.
Well, let's stop right now. This will be a good place to stop. And we will do part 2 of living in 2 different worlds. Thank you for joining us for Not in My City Unite. We'll see you again.